So we prepared our energy and chi again by first doing the back and forward bow, the left and the right bagua, twisting on the cord left and right. Then we did some improvisation a bit, gather some chi, inhale, then again some improvisation, but go to the cross, impact 3 times, get the chi running, contemplation Om Ahom Tram. Then we charge the arms, the legs, the sides, and central line. Final dragon claw everywhere, and back central line. Contemplation again. Om Ahom Tram. This is how, there's no rule, but this is how I decided to make my own training, inspired by the training of my masters, because it's efficient. And it gets our chi running. Now we're going to go and review the Earth Fist in a theoretical way. I'm going to talk about it. Okay. Yesterday, you got the feeling of the idea of condensing the energy in a fist. You'll have to find ways yourself to practice. Alone, you can't do it really unless you have a partner that experiences it with yourself. So a trick we talked about is to do it with a punching bag. For the chi experience to be as close to a human body possible, at least have a punching bag or a hard mat hanging on a wall that is made of organic material. Leather cover over some cotton filling or something like that. Find something that is thick enough, not just a little cover, something thick enough that when you do it, you can practice slow and pressing very hard. Same with the fire fingers, so that you can feel the effect on your inanimate object. If it has low transformation biological substance, such as leather and natural fabric, you'll have some kind of the chi feeling of it goes through. So that's good to practice alone, okay, for the Earth Fist and the 5 fingers. And you have first to practice slow, and once you practice slow, you accelerate until it can go fast, and then you apply it in combat with whoever wants to train with you. And in a real scenario, you can't think, it needs to be autonomous. So don't go use it. Those of you who in your job you're subject sometimes to actually fight, don't go and do this until you know you can pop it up. Just knowing about it, watching the videos a few times and training on your own is not enough. When you feel that you can incorporate it in your own combat, and even with the 5 fingers you can do it all the time. The Earth Fist, when you practice with people unaware, you could do a bit too much damage if you become efficient. I was asked yesterday, sorry. I was asked yesterday, that's the French word for yesterday. So I was challenged, the reason why I had a big bruise on the back of my hand, okay? That's just at one point when I did the first kick, I came down. The impact wasn't that hard, but the impact of the chi was kinetic, and it blew up the capillars. So I've regenerated. Don't worry, because I can, just to take it off and make it go better again. But the thing is, there was a kinetic impact that blew capillars just by the impact of the jing. That means if I had done that Earth Fist on someone, it could blow up small micro tubes. Do this in someone's liver, get the bile to start to ooze out, and the guy gets poisoning. In 10 seconds, his brain starts to react because there's poison in the blood. He's not into the fighting anymore. That could actually kill someone. So that's why you have to be conscious of what you're doing and train with the upper lung and the middle lung from the sides here, and that's the only place to do, because if the few alveoli would break in the lungs, it will regenerate. It'll be okay after a while. Okay, you have to be careful about that. Then do with the muscles on the sides here. Okay, but the 5 fingers, you're not going to damage much because it's all about to punch in a muscle to disable it. That's the point. So this you can train with people unaware of it. It's pretty cool actually. You can laugh at them afterwards, which is unvirtuous, but I did it nonetheless. It's just, you do it, and they wonder why. They try to block, and you just, why do you keep hitting me on the shoulder? Okay, block this one, and by the time I came in, you just did like that, about at that speed. And what's going on? So, okay, go on, just sparring, just going. And this guy he couldn't block. He tried to hit, he went like this. He just couldn't pop that energy in all the muscles related to that channel of energy in the body. So then I said, okay, come here. I just went, do some brushing of that fire stuck. And then he was, oh wow, what the fuck did you do? That was pretty cool. So in any case, you can do it in any scenario, and that would at least allow you to practice on live targets, aware of it or not. But if you explain it to them, you want to try a technique, it's better. So that at least aware you're going to try something funky, and then you know how to repair it. Each place that you pushed, instead of giving them the 2 or 3 days time required for the muscle to regain its full functionality, you just go do the same technique. It takes 20 seconds, it's back online. Just the time the chi will naturally recycle to there. You're actually causing a blockage in someone's chi. It has a direct impact on the physical level. It's cool. The next one, that's the entire review and the philosophy and the morality, more or less, if there's any, of using that technique and how to train it. If you start to have damage, like one of my friends in Quebec, that started to have physical damage that they could not regen on the spot during the Earth Fist, so they started to practice with other things, like big heavy fruits and stuff like that, using a big watermelon to dry it, and using the palm in the Earth Fist fashion. Now is time for the Heaven's Gaze, and there's nothing I can teach you about Heaven's Gaze. I will tell you about a reference to existing wisdom on how you do the actual Heaven's Gaze, a bit like that. The goal is to go into a state of peace and know that there is no combat. But you're doing. You're in a fight, you're sparring, and everything in your senses tells you there is combat. But the goal is to breathe. So I'm just going to teach you the breath of peace, the breath of the Heaven's Gaze, okay? From here, the bridge of the nose, up to that point here, just behind the line. Actually, you're going to go up to the crown chakra, to the top of the head, okay? So you can do it physically 2 or 3 times, just to feel this is a straight line from that point to the higher part of you. And if you end a little back to the tip of the crown chakra, doesn't feel it, that's the best way. So this is a channel. You've got the bone of your skull, and inside the bone of your skull you've got a membrane with a mucus and your brain in there. There's a channel that is inside the skull bone that goes from here to here, but it's not above. It's from inside the skull. There's an energy channel, which is the channel of peace. It's what brings balance between both hemispheres, and also between you and the inside and the outside, you and the environment, or inside and outside, okay? So what we do is we practice the Heaven's Gaze first with a technique called the breath of peace. You're just like this, and as you breathe in, you imagine that blue light comes into the base of your nose, to the nostril, brings blue light here, and on each breath it flows up, and at the end of your breath it's here. And as you do it, and when you exhale, it doesn't fall, you just forget about it, you're just exhaling the air, and it's falling gently. You let the air fall, you don't force it. And when you re-inhale, you're just putting more of that blue light there. And that light is in a compact channel lining the insides of your skull bone. Okay? This is where you want to see it. From the third eye, the base of the third eye to the tip of the crown chakra. And that will cause a collaboration of 2 glands, pineal and pituitary. I think in English you could also say hypophyse and the epiphyse. I don't know if you have it. Anyway, those two glands very close at exactly the center of your brain, that are very close, when they emit enough consciousness to touch each other, everything becomes in balance, in harmony. Okay? And that is what happens when we have the experience of enlightenment. These two glands, what allows the physical body to grasp enlightenment and perceive at this level, is these two glands are not two separate things inside. They now function as one. Okay? And although medically they have two different functions, they function as one. It brings a lot of harmony. Okay? So we're going to do it just a few times. We breathe in and we feel it go from inside the skull. When you breathe out, just let the air fall. Not with strength, just through the nose. Just relax. Okay. Now, by practicing this, do you see how soothing it is? It brings the part of the human and the soul to collaborate together. It brings every kind of separation in your perception to just, let's all work together. The human, the supernatural state, the divine state for those who believe in some kind of divine entity, everything from the highest point to the lowest point of your existence just tunes in. By getting these 2 points from the inner channel, it goes inside and causes that collaboration of all separate parts of you into one single thing. Then the willpower, the ability to fight is still there, but the aggressivity, the violence, the anger, the hatred that motivates you to fight just falls off. So you don't have the will to fight anymore. You can have the will to play and keep doing martial arts because it's fun. You can have the will to enjoy yourself with a teammate, to do sparring or to play with the apparent art of combat, but in your brain there's no combat. And as you practice this state, the heaven's gaze is to be absorbed in this state. When you go into a combat scenario, you can't start imagining blue light. It's too late. Okay, you need to go, okay, I'm in that state of peace, and I look at it with the same attitude. And you keep doing your thing, but you have practiced the breath of peace so much that when you gaze, the other would be tempted inside his brain to go into that form of collaboration, where there's no more conflict, there's no more need to be aggressive, which will tend to disengage the will to fight. And just with the happy smile, oh my God, that's cool. Do you understand this? So that's the breath of peace. And you practice a lot, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. When you finish a class, after you've done the entire training, to start training, you just motivate your chi. After the end of the training, just go in there, go in that state. And there's no mantra. Some people say Shanti, the Sanskrit word for peace. Just say Om. Simply, the Om is that part of the entire collaboration of every part of you. So it really puts you in a certain state of mind. That's the heaven's gaze. Is from this state of mind you observe and you know that you and the other is one, affected by that peace, and it will naturally happen. So this is the most mystical and supernatural and impossible to understand until you actually experience it. But I used it the first time I was 12 to actually disengage the combat that I was just gonna get my face trashed. So that was pretty cool. Good? Any questions? It feels right? Let's go to water stance. Okay, there's not much I can say more about that breath of peace, and the heaven's gaze is just go there and know that there is peace. And in that peace we can have fun, sparring, which we'll do right now. Okay, Brian? So we're gonna go slow. The water stance is not something you're gonna do in combat. although it's going to bring reflexes in combat, it is anti-martial arts. It is not well grounded on, it's not a stable stance. It is to be fluid. It's just to train you to get to this point of being able to just wiggle like that, okay? Using your body and your four limbs are waving and just attempting, you bring your hip in there, and it looks like is it a drunken master would use in a movie, when you just go to fight and just whoa. The thing is, it shows you to not have resistance, to not be well grounded in a stance, okay? So it's not something you actually use in combat. It's something you use in training to achieve an experience, a perspective on how to handle your thing. In Bujinkan, you have this thing about if a fist is coming, you're just going to fall off and not resist it. Okay? Well, the water stance is about that. Well, you use your dantian as a pivot. So if a hit comes, this is your pivot. It goes like this. So it's not just pull your upper body away. It's also get your hips in there, so that you look like that. Someone hits you, just hit me on the shoulder. Okay, hit me with a straight one. Okay, doesn't look good. And the goal is not to use this in a fight. The goal is to use this in training, so that naturally, if a fist is going to happen, you're just gonna get the idea of flowing around it like a water ball, and encase it. That makes sense? So we just want to train right now. Okay, so just go ahead. Use your typical thing. It's one throws a punch, the other throws a punch, and be creative with the type of punch and the position, so that you will wobble in and out. Okay, and try that wobbling thing before. Try to go like this. Look crazy and drunk. You need to get these knees left and right, up and down. Yeah. All right. You too straight. Sorry, so afraid. Just bend this body. Slinky yourself out. Okay? Now this guy is made of a wood plank and a few articulations. Okay? You need to. So instead of just going like this, try to go stretch out. Yeah. But that's good. It gets you to the point of oozing yourself out. Okay? Because when you do martial arts, it's all about having a firm stance, being able to have some kind of, pillar to put the pressure in, so that if you're doing some kind of hit, you're well grounded. For the water stance, it's just to disengage that reflex that in combat we're just too hard. In combat, we're just stuck with this idea, I have to be well grounded. That means you're not going to move if the punch comes in. So you're going to take it full blast. Just going to water down, bah. Okay? Make sense? Do it. Gonna spar slowly. Now, no defense stance, just go ahead. Flow in, flow in. Ow. You got it? That's it. Okay, that's good. Never do this in combat, by the way. Okay. That's just to get you to do it.
Oh, I know. We're not.
Okay. One thing important to train, we're going to try something right now. You're always about the sides. And I understand, usually in combat, is you will block and let it go to the side. Just for the purpose of the training, we want you to be face to face and give a front push to get you used to that move, which is stupid in combat, but it's perfect for the water stance. Gets you to limbo. Just put your head on the side. Okay, the moment you're coming back, you're pushing right away.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? Try it. You understand this rigidity that we're stuck with?
Yeah,
When we train so many years that we can't we're not flexible anymore. That means you could actually lose if you're convinced that staying hard is your solution. Don't do this in combat, of course, but for training, just go ahead. Okay? So just go ahead.
Even your face is water.
Yeah, I really go in mode. You're too rigid, Brian. Oh my God.
Actually, we're
That's what I was thinking.
kind of. Alright, when you come back. What was that?
Chain it right away.
Yeah, let's do it
The
again.
moment, no. The moment you come back, you know, instead of coming back, you're in the ground, you push, just go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like you say, just hit me like.
All right,
Yes.
this is the feeling. Good. Okay. You got something out of it, okay? You know you're rigid now.
Yeah.
Well, it's good because for your work you also need other training such as being very strong. You'll now keep your hands up in whatever style you do. I'll do Wing Chun, but you can use any style you want, okay? And we'll do it face to face. You know Wing Chun a bit?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, I know that.
Hit me! So, and all this face guy. Okay, so you're gonna take it up. I'm gonna do it, sorry. She's got this. So the goal is just to flow in and have your hips involved in every block. Usually the block is all about I'm stable on the ground, I'm here, and the block is about here. Get your hips exaggerated so that you can have the flexibility. This will also answer your back problems because you don't train it. It just went crack. All right. So you just go. Get one, just slowly. Now it's sloppy, I know. It's sloppy. Thank you. The goal is to train slow and small scale sparring to just exaggerate the flowing in so that eventually it becomes a reflex. You get a hit and you'll ooze yourself out. You got that? Alright. Spar. Good. So you get the point. You get the point that you're never going to do specifically that in combat. It's just that every martial art you've trained so far is so rigid here. That part you lost it. The water stance is this. It's your liver. Sorry, it's your liver. We say in English, do we? Because your liver is here. That's your liver. Okay, so it's your lever. It's the way that you'll be able to take in the chi of the other and go hard with the earth fist. Okay? The goal of the water stance is just to practice your flexibility so that whatever comes in, you have more ability. Yeah, like that. You finally got it. And he thinks we're making fun of him. Yeah, bravo, bravo. Oh no, I wasn't good. I made a fool of myself. Of course you did. So, so did we. So the thing is that water stance will give you back that single thing that you've lost by learning to be so well seated in your various stances. Okay? Eventually, you go to the point of taking in the other's energy. Okay, in every martial art, at one point you say, we take the other's energy and throw it back at them. But all you think is terms of physics. He throws a punch, pull on the punch because it's going to make him go faster and bang in the head. That's how to use mechanical physics. When I talk about using the energy, I'm talking about the amount of life force and chi that is flowing through them in that effort, and to just broom it off, pack it, and then boom into an earth fist. Do you understand what I mean? It's not just using the mechanic rules against them that everybody does. I'm talking about using their energy and throwing it back at them in the form of energy. Compacted Jing. Okay? So that's one step further than just block it, redirect it, and then move it onto the floor because it's using physics. It's actually using the energy. The water stance is the ability to keep doing Qigong when you're doing combat. And obviously, you wouldn't do it open hands like this, because you get your butt kicked. What you want is to still just go boom, and you do your technique any way you want. But the attitude, the feeling of your training will be in there. Good? So that's what we want to train. The last mystical and impossible to show you technique is the air palm. Okay? The idea, we start with the palm, and this time the palms is fingers together. Okay? We want to feel the radiation of our chi without the dragon claw, because we're not powerfully diffusing it. We're just feeling the chi. And we're going to start by just walking around like this. Everyone do it while I talk. And feel your chi pushing on something hard. You are pushing on your own life force as you advance. If you walk too quickly, you'll lose your chi. You have to go slower. But the goal is to feel that you're actually producing a pressure with your chi as you move. And you push on something, and now you'll meet someone and you'll go like this on the shoulder at 2 inches to see if they felt your push. Okay? And you're packing more. And just feel it. Live it. Just in the idea of to see if they get the pressure. Just making that feeling. Yeah. And you will feel tactile information in your palm as you move. You will feel like if you had touched when you get to 3 inches of them, or 2 inches. Like if you had physical touch. Now you go back to your place. This, of course, is absolutely impossible if you just don't feel chi or energy. It's impossible if you can't compact some jing. So it's the last one in the elements. You got the earth to get you into the feeling of that transmigrating energy. And the fire to be more focused and disabling, to just, it makes their own life flow off. Then the heavens gaze, to disengage the idea that there is a combat. Even while there is a combat, you know it's not a combat. You go into the non-distinction of combat or not. To just take it off of your mindset. The water stance, to get you moving so that every step you do is a fluid act of Qigong. If you open a door, you can't go, boring, it's morning, take your toothbrush, you do your stuff. Or you can take with the fingers and push your door and open the tap and start to do your thing, just to practice. Some people are not as freak as myself, but if I open a drawer for a knife, I'll take it, and then I'll start to butter my thing. I'll go like this and close the drawer while I keep doing my things. It's just my way of feeling everything is just an act of pushing chi onto something else. And you dance, and eventually if you dance too much, you throw butter everywhere, which is what I done the first time. Because I'm like, I'm pouring some chi, oh no, shit, I have to wash off. Just too much. Just do the things, but be conscious of the chi. If you water tap, you go, but not like that, still just opening. But it's an act of Qigong, okay? Then that's the water stance thing. It's just to flow into everything you do. Eventually, your muscles, especially in the back, but everywhere, all this area, will become strong and fluid, and you'll be able to avoid tons of injuries and stupid mistakes with your legs, just because you have a new system, something that we just never train. Okay? That's water stance. So air palm is apply pressure. That's it. End of class. Okay. Air palm is the buildup of that pressure. So eventually you practice with the air palm, fingers apart, not much, fingers together, accumulating more pressure. And you can apply pressure like this to objects and then people, as we felt. And the more you practice the air palm, I'm going, it's just The idea is I am applying pressure by my chi, and eventually you become good at feeling it and densifying it, and you'll have enough in just a few seconds to have an effect over distance. And you start telekinesis. Someone, these people who actually run on water, little small belly-filled old Chinese that will walk on water, they're actually doing an air palm style. It's the same thing. They're compacting Jing, so the moment their feet touch water, they're touching something as hard as the ground, which is enough to push them further. As much as the air feeling of I'm lighter and flowing up, there's the ability to put that pressure down. They're actually hardening the water at the moment of impact. Because the surface of the water has surface retention something. I don't know how you call it in English.
Intrusive pressure.
Yeah, okay, you got some kind of pressure on the water. Retention, okay. So the surface retention makes the water on the surface just a tad harder. So nature already does it, they just amplify it. It's existing in nature, they can make it bigger. So they're actually putting pressure, a lot of pressure that doesn't break the water because it's with their cheeks held back. Then you have these guys doing crazy jumps. I've never done the crazy jumps, but I've seen them. And what they do is when they jump, they go like this. So they've been giving hits on the air, making it harder, giving them like 5 to 20 more pounds of pressure upwards, which is enough to get that few extra inches to land on the ledge. Okay? So, and obviously the guy we train with, we should just be there and go, oh, he's on the roof. Like he's 12 feet above us. Just went, just because he knew, compacted that chi and used all the forces of nature around him to just go up. So the air palm is the absolute mystical, there's no way I can really teach you thing about it. But that's the method that I've been using at the bowling range. Like I said, just do it. And as I threw it, and feel the compaction of that Jing reorient the direction of the ball. That's the air ball. And to practice it, just go like that, and you try it on things. Eventually, you take a sheet of paper, and at a few inches, you just go like this, and try to make it flow off, because it's just hanging. Now, if you go like this, that's your wind. Okay? You need to just go just a few inches and try to make it lift off.
That's the same thing with a candle. You see some guys do with the candle.
Exactly. When they do the equivalent of what we call the air palm in the Chinese tradition. They do it with a fist. It's the air fist. But it's not the earth fist. It's using the air thing about convection of that kinetic pressure and make it move. So they're at quite a fair distance. They go, and at the same moment of the end of the fist, the flame goes out because there was a whiff of air. But it is scientifically impossible for the air to go from the fist 6 inches later and ignite it right away. It would take at least 1 second for the air to convect and actually blow the candle off. And some people do it at 1 foot. Some people do it with a katana at 6 foot. It's just a question of getting to that edge and knowing, being focused. And it's at the moment of the impact here that a few foot further, the air just goes pop. It just creates an impact conversion. Why does it affect the candle? Because your focus is on the candle, and it happens there. So the impact you're giving here is happening there because you're using quantum physics there. You're making the impact non-local here and local here. So it's like transmigration. You're hitting at a place that your physical fist is not. You just need enough of your focus for the Jing to happen. You have a physical effect. Okay? So that's the air palm. Is the one I have not trained for so long. The small effects I do are barely not visible. I've shown quite a crowd about it. Just moving some object with my mind. Okay? But very small objects that pretty much everyone could do right after the first class. And you can watch this class, telekinesis training. That's one of those. Otherwise, that is the end of the class of the 5-element Kung Fu. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.